I want to talk to you about Bishop Grosseteste and the educational value of Solertia. But first of all, who was Robert Grosseteste? Well, he was the first Chancellor of Oxford University, and he was also the Bishop of Lincoln. In addition, he was probably the greatest polyglot of his generation. He was a translator, he was a philosopher, he was a theologian, and he was also a great scientist. It's a long myth that medieval Europe was pre-science, but Grosseteste managed to be the first person to work out how a rainbow worked by refraction. He also had a fascinating idea about how the universe started, when light hit a point in the universe, and at that moment it spread out at the speed of infinity, bringing all matter with it. Now, Robert Grosseteste enters the stage in Europe when there is a fierce debate about education. Conservatives in the church were saying that you cannot trust the senses. Since Eve gave Adam fruit from the tree of knowledge, the human mind, the human senses went pear-shaped or apple-shaped or whatever shape the fruit was. And that meant that they were skewed in some way, and we couldn't trust them. The only way we could get pure, good knowledge was but from God, by divine illumination, a long meditation. And of course, this knowledge, this pure learning was only available to monks and nuns in the church. At the same time, however, a new educational institution was spreading all over Europe, in Bologna, in Paris, in Oxford. New institutions called universities were mushrooming all around Europe. In addition, Aristotle was arriving via Arabic translations. And Aristotle was telling people to be empirical learners, to learn with your eyes, with your senses, with your touch. So there's a big clash staging taking place, because the universities are saying something very different to the churches, and the churches in some quarters were apoplectic about this new development. In particular, Bernard of Clairvaux was the greatest critic of this new learning, and he railed against the astronomers in the universities, and he said to them, "How dare you cast your eyes to the heavens, who have sinned against heaven? You should be on your knees begging for forgiveness." Well, into this argument walks Robert Grosseteste, and he comes up with this notion of Solertia. And with Solertia, he says, learning takes place like this. We do the empirical learning. We learn with our senses. We're taught by teachers. We read books, and we think about these books, and we use reason. And however, this isn't the greatest form of illumination, the greatest form of learning. It just plants a seedbed, if you like, and it makes our minds ready for what he called divine illumination, which comes now. And this is Solertia. This is that moment where you say, as a student, I've got it. Yes, I understand that now. That problem I was thinking about for a long time, I've just got it. Or you might have an idea, an original idea based on your learning that nobody else has managed. It's unique to you and it cannot be taught. The only thing a teacher can do is prepare that seedbed. It's as if light at that moment hits your brain and brings all that matter of learning and spreads it about your mind in a moment of instantaneous illumination. Now, we can call that a light bulb moment. We can call it divine illumination if we like. But according to Robert Grosseteste, it is the acme of learning. It is the highest moment of the educational process, and it's well worth pursuing.